Amesy here of Amesy's Antics. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're well today because I have another crafty project to share with you. And in this week's video, we are doing a bit of scrap fabric busting, and I'm going to show you how to make fabric storage boxes with snap closures to keep them all together when they are on the shelf or in the drawer or wherever you plan on placing them. This is a really easy sewing project and it is perfect for beginners as well. So if you would like to see how to make fabric storage boxes, then let's get sewing. So here is the drawer I want to make the storage for, and I'm a bit embarrassed, but look, it's just full, not organised. I've got my Kindle, I've got a nice little bit of a cream that I put on at night to help me sleep, and then just lots and lots of wires. So it really does need organising with these little boxes or pouches that I'm going to make. What I need to do is actually take the measurement of the drawer so that I know how big I can make each of the fabric boxes to store everything in. And I'm also thinking, but I might do it as a different video, but some cord tidies with some scrap fabric and press studs just to keep everything together, I guess. So let me know if you would like to see how to make some cord tidies as well. Put them in them comments below. But yes, let's get on to measuring this drawer. After emptying the drawer, I then grabbed my tape measure so that I could take all the measurements so I knew what I could actually fit into the drawer. And my drawer measures 26 centimeters wide by 25 centimeters long, and that is back to front of the drawer, and the drawer height is 14 centimeters. So this gives me a rough idea of what I can split these sizes down into, which is what I'm going to do next. To make the fabric boxes, you're going to need some fabric, obviously. So we're going to have 2 pieces of lining, 2 pieces of the outer, and 4 pieces of interfacing per box. And I've just drawn out or cut out at 27.5 centimeters by 24 centimeters, which should give me a box of 12.5 centimeters by 12.5 centimeters and 15 centimeters high. And this is from hellosewing.com. They have templates and sizing to make various different sizes of fabric boxes, so I'll link that down below. And the first thing to do is attach the interfacing to all of the pieces of fabric to make up one box. So that is interfacing on both of the outer fabrics and interfacing on both of the lining pieces, and making sure that these are put onto the wrong side of the fabric, just using an iron because I have fusible interfacing rather than sew-in interfacing here. And then before we do any sewing, we need to do a bit more measuring and cutting. So on the bottom 2 corners of each fabric piece, we want to measure a box of 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters and then cut this out. So I am using a fabric marker here that washes away with water, but you could use tailor's chalk, a heat erasable pen, whatever you need to do to mark out the 6 centimeters, and just making sure they are sort of all matching. So sometimes it's best to actually make a paper template for this and then cut it out according to that so they all match, because some of mine was a little bit mismatched later on when I've come to sew them, and I've had to trim them and line them up a little bit more difficultly. But yes, cut out the 6 centimeter by 6 centimeter boxes. And once all the corners have been cut out, you should be left with 4 pieces like this. And now we just need to attach pieces together. So we're going to attach one outer piece with one lining piece across the top long edge that hasn't been cut, remembering to backstitch at the start and end of each seam. And this is a 1 centimeter roughly seam allowance. Then you want to press open the seam allowance so that it is lying flat, and as you can see I am actually using a steamer here to do this because the iron I was using started smoking during use, so that went in the bin and we were waiting on another iron. So you're going to see two different irons in a steamer, but that is beside the point. Iron them flat so that they are laying nice and flat, and it will help with the top stitching and neatness around the top edge. Then you want to place the two together, right side to right side, lining up the lining pieces together and then the outer pieces together, and making sure them seams in the middle match as much as possible because it will be a little bit noticeable on the top. And then you want to leave a gap in one edge of the lining, so one of the side edges of the lining we're going to leave a gap so we can turn this right side out, but then we're going to actually sew along the top edge and then the two side edges and the bottom edge, again remembering to back stitch at the start and end of each seam, and it is again a 1 centimeter seam allowance. You also want to backstitch at the start and end of the opening in the lining just to give a bit more durability when pulling the box right side out. To make this into a box, we need to then sew the box corners. So this is where the bits we cut out come in. So you want to pinch this bit of fabric together, right sides to right side, lining up the two seams, and it'll go in the opposite direction to the original seam, creating that box bit. You can clip or pin these in place. I found clips were easier because my fabric was a little bit more bulky. And then what you want to do is just sew a seam along this edge, a 1 centimeter seam allowance again, and this will create the box corners of the box, and you want to repeat the same in the lining fabric as well. I noticed that my fabric lining was fraying so much, so I've just added some zigzag or overlock stitching to the edges where I can, just to reduce some of the wear and tear and reduce it fraying a little bit more. Then in that gap left in the lining, you want to pull the box right side out, revealing the beautiful outer fabric. I've gone for a lovely blue velvet here, and it's matching my velvet plant pot, which I can put up above if you want to check that out. Then you want to secure that opening together. So I'm doing mine on my machine, but you can actually do a blind stitch if you want it a little bit more concealed, and then just pop the lining back into the box, and you have the basic fabric storage box taking shape here. You just want to push out them corners just to give that bit more definition. And then along the top, make sure that the lining is pulled fully in, and we're just going to go around and top stitch it, and this is right on the edge, so not a 1 centimeter seam allowance this time, and this just holds the lining in place and gives it a bit more of a professional look. And then to help the corners and sides pop, you just want to use the iron, and here's the new iron, and just press this down into that corner to create a nice line up the side, repeating this on all 4 of the corners, and it'll just help give a bit more definition. You can also top stitch this if you want to give even more definition, but I found the ironing and pressing work just as well. And to help keep these baskets in place, I just wanted to add some snap buttons or snap fastenings, and they'll connect them all together so they won't move about in the drawer. Turns out they are quite snug in the drawer, so I probably didn't need these, but if you want to add snap fastening, this is how you do it. So I'm just measuring 4 centimeters down on each 4 sides from the top edge, marking it with some tailor's chalk. So for each box, I want to add one on all 4 sides. So I need 4 caps, which are the ones with the spikes, 2 sockets, which are the ones that are going in, and 2 studs, which are the ones going out. And I'm alternating sides so that each box that I have, I'm making 4, you can connect whichever side that you want to on each other, if that makes sense. If you want them in a line, you can do this. So all you want to do is create a hole in the fabric where we have marked, and then you place a cap through this hole so it reaches to the outer bit, and then you want to either place the stud or the socket on whichever side we are going. I think this is the stud part, or maybe it's a socket, I can't quite remember. And then you just use the snap fastening tool to go around and it just presses in place once you've lined it up, bit like a press. So it presses it into place and then it is connected to the fabric. Just keep going until all 4 sides are complete. And that is how to make fabric storage boxes with snap closures, and they are ready to go. So there you have how to make fabric storage boxes complete with snap closures, which are optional. I love how these have turned out. I like that the fabric choices, the velvet gives it that bit of luxuriousness. Even though they're going to be in a drawer, not really seen, I still know they're going to be nice if I wanted to put them out on display. And then just adding them snap closures just to keep them together. I have wanted to use snap closures for a while and thought they would be really difficult to put in, but actually they were quite simple and they went in really smoothly. So I would recommend adding snap closures to anything you can because they are really easy to put in, as well as make these storage boxes because they are so easy to whip up and a really quick beginner sewing project, I guess. So let me know what you think of these storage boxes in them comments below, and whether you'll be having a go at making your own. And if you've enjoyed the video, then please do give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up with all my creative and crafty antics coming up onto the blog. And once you're there, hit that notification bell as well, because that will alert you each time my videos go live. I also have a blog which is Ames's Antics, and it's linked down below and up above for you to check out as well, because sometimes there's just a little bit more information over on the blog. And with that said, I will see you in next week's video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week and are able to do something creative and crafty to pass your time, like maybe use some of your fabric scraps and make your own fabric storage boxes. The possibilities are endless with this, and you can make them in so many different sizes. So yes, have fun, and I will see you next time.